The morning mist was still caught in the grass when little Bunny found the tunnel. It was not a hole that any animal had dug. It was a shadow beneath the old oak tree, where the roots lifted the earth like fingers holding a secret. Little Bunny's whiskers twitched. The air that came out of that tunnel smelled different. Damp. Sweet. Like carrots. But deeper. Like carrots that had never seen the sun. "This way," whispered a voice. Little Bunny turned. No one was there, but the tunnel was waiting. He pushed one paw forward. The soil was cool, soft. It gave way like a blanket that had been folded over and over. And as he stepped inside, the light from the morning disappeared behind him. The tunnel sloped down, gentle, slow. The walls were lined with tiny roots that glowed faintly, like threads of silver sewn into the dark. Little Bunny's ears brushed the ceiling. His nose touched the floor. He was small enough to fit, but just barely. "Keep going," said the voice. He could not tell if the voice was outside or inside his own head, but he kept going. And then the tunnel opened. Little Bunny blinked. He was standing in a cave, but it was not a cave of stone. It was a cave of carrots. Thousands of them, hanging from the ceiling like orange icicles, stacked along the walls like logs in a wood pile, growing from the floor in spirals that twisted toward the dark above. The air was thick with the smell of earth and sugar. Little Bunny's stomach made a small sound. "You found it?"
Oh my,
said the voice.
Are you hungry, little one?
A figure
Come,
stepped
come
from behind a
closer.
curtain of roots. It was an old rabbit, older than any rabbit Little Bunny had ever seen. Her fur was gray, streaked with white. Her eyes were the color of wet soil. She carried a small lantern made from a hollowed turnip, and inside it, a single firefly circled slowly. "I'm called Grandmother Root," she said, "and you are the one who followed the scent." Little Bunny nodded. He could not find words. The cave was too big, too quiet, too full of orange light. "Do you know what this place is?" Grandmother Root asked. Little Bunny shook his head. "This is where the carrots go,"
Are you sure?
she said,
She told me they went right up
"when they
there.
are not being eaten, when they are not being planted, when they are between one world and the next. This is the resting place of every carrot that was ever grown and never finished. This secret resting place is a wonder. If you want to keep discovering hidden corners of the farm, subscribe so we can explore them together by the light of a turnip lantern. And in the comments, tell us, what memory do you think a carrot carries? Little Bunny looked at the carrots hanging above him. They did not look dead. They looked like they were waiting. Every seed that falls into the soil carries a memory, Grandmother Root said. A memory of the sun that warmed it,
A memory of the sun that
the rain
warmed
that
it,
soaked it,
the rain
the hands that
soaked
tucked it into the ground. And when a carrot is pulled from the earth, that memory does not disappear. It comes here. She reached up and touched one of the hanging carrots. It glowed softly, like a candle behind orange glass. This carrot was grown by a child named Lily 50 summers ago, Grandmother Root said. She planted it in May. She watered it every morning.
She watered it.
She sang to it because her grandmother told her that
sang to the
carrots like
soil.
songs. And when she pulled it from the ground, she held it in her hands and said, "Thank you. Little Bunny felt something warm spread through his chest. But Lily did not eat it. Grandmother Root continued. She kept it in her window because she thought it was too beautiful to eat. She kept it until it dried and wrinkled and became small. And then, one day, she buried it in the garden, and the memory of that carrot came here to wait. Wait for what? Little Bunny whispered. Grandmother Root smiled. It was a slow smile, like the sun coming through morning clouds. Wait for another seed, she said.
The circle of life.
Wait for another child. Wait for the
From
cycle to
earth
begin again.
To the heart. And
Little
back
Bunny
again.
looked down at his own paws. He had never grown a carrot by himself. He had helped. He had carried water. He had pulled small weeds. But he had never tucked a seed into the earth with his own paws and waited for it to grow. Would you like to try? Grandmother Root asked. Little Bunny looked up.
Do you understand?
Her eyes were kind. The firefly in the turnip lantern circled once, twice, 3 times. Yes, he said. Grandmother Root reached into a pocket in her fur. She pulled out a single seed. It was small, brown, unremarkable. But when she placed it in Little Bunny's paw, it felt warm, like it had been held by 1,000 hands before. This seed has been waiting a long time, she said. It was saved from a carrot that grew in the very first garden on Green Meadow Farm, when the farm was still young and the soil was still new. That carrot fed a family through a cold winter, and its seeds have been passed down season after season, waiting for someone who would plant them with care. Little Bunny closed his paw around the seed. It was the smallest thing he had ever held, and the heaviest. Take it, Grandmother Root said. Take it back to the surface. Find a spot where the sun touches the soil for most of the day. Dig a hole, no deeper than your first knuckle. Place the seed inside. Cover it with earth. Pat it gently. And then wait. Little Bunny now holds a seed that holds a farm's whole history. If you want to watch what grows from it, and from all our stories, subscribe so you never miss a root or a leaf, and leave a word in the comments. What would you whisper to your seed as you tuck it into the soil? How long? Little Bunny asked.
Yes, little one?
Longer than you want to,
Everything will be all right.
Grandmother Root said,
Look.
but not as long as you think. She stepped closer. Her fur brushed against his. She smelled of hay and rain and old wood. The waiting is the hardest part, she said, because you will not see anything for many days. You will check the soil every morning. You will wonder if you did something wrong. You will worry that the seed is sleeping too deeply. But the seed is not sleeping. It is working. It is reaching down with its tiny root, anchoring itself, finding the water that hides beneath the earth. It is building itself silently, invisibly, until one morning you will see a small green curl breaking through the surface, and you will know that the seed kept its promise. Little Bunny held the seed close to his chest. Can I go now? He asked. Yes, Grandmother Root said. But before you go, remember this. The seed does not grow because you want it to. It grows because you gave it what it needed and stepped back. That is the secret. That is the hardest thing. To plant and then to wait. Little Bunny nodded. He turned toward the tunnel. But Grandmother Root's voice stopped him. "One more thing," she said. "When the carrot is ready, and you pull it from the earth, do not eat it right away. Hold it in your paws. Feel its weight. Remember the days you ate it. Remember the rain and the sun and the soil. And then, when you take the first bite, taste the time." Little Bunny looked back one last time. The cave of carrots glowed like 1,000 tiny suns. Grandmother Root raised her lantern. The firefly inside it circled once, and then the light went dim. The tunnel was dark. Little Bunny climbed, up and up and up, his paws finding the roots that guided him, his nose filled with the smell of the seed he carried. The tunnel narrowed, the air grew warmer, and then suddenly he was back in the morning light. The mist had lifted. The grass was wet. The oak tree stood exactly where it had always stood. Little Bunny looked down at his paw. The seed was still there. Small, brown, warm. He looked around. The tunnel was gone. There was no shadow beneath the tree, no opening in the roots, just the quiet morning, and the dew on the grass, and a seed waiting to be planted. Little Bunny walked to the garden. He found a spot where the sun touched the soil all day. He dug a hole, no deeper than his first knuckle. He placed the seed inside. He covered it with earth. He patted it gently. And then he waited. The first day, nothing happened. The second day, nothing happened. The third day, Little Bunny woke up early, before the sun was fully above the horizon. He walked to the garden. He looked at the spot where he had planted the seed. The soil was undisturbed, but there was something different about the air. He leaned closer, and that is when he heard it. A tiny sound, so small that he almost missed it. A sound like a root stretching, like a seed waking up, like something deep beneath the earth saying, "I am here." Little Bunny smiled. He sat down next to the spot. He did not dig. He did not check. He just sat, with the morning sun warming his fur, and the soil cool beneath his paws, and the knowledge that somewhere down there, the seed was working. And as he sat, he realized that Grandmother Root had been right. The waiting was the hard part, but it was also the beautiful part, because every day that he waited, he learned something new. He learned that the soil was softer after the rain. He learned that the worms moved deeper in the afternoon. He learned that the sparrows watched from the fence, and that they seemed to know what was happening, even when he could not see it. On the 7th day, Little Bunny woke up to find a tiny green curl pushing through the brown. It was small, smaller than his smallest toe, but it was there.
Look,
It was real.
it's growing.
It was growing.
Just like we talked about.
Little Bunny did not touch it. He just looked,
It is.
and then he whispered, "Thank you." The green curl seemed to shiver, just a little, like it was answering. And so the days passed. The curl grew taller. 2 leaves appeared, then 4. Then the stem thickened and the leaves turned darker. And Little Bunny knew that somewhere below the soil the carrot was growing too. Round, orange, sweet. He watered it when the soil felt dry. He pulled the small weeds that tried to crowd it. He sat beside it in the evenings, when the sun was low and the shadows were long. And he told it stories about the cave of carrots and Grandmother Root, and the seed that had been saved from the very first garden. The carrot grew, and little Bunny grew too. Not in size, but in patience, in the kind of waiting that does not feel like waiting anymore, because it becomes part of your day, part of your rhythm, part of who you are. On the 47th morning, little Bunny woke up and saw the soil had lifted. A small orange shoulder was pushing through the surface. The carrot was ready. Little Bunny knelt down. He put his paws around the green top. He pulled, gently at first, then with more strength. The soil resisted. The carrot held tight. But little Bunny did not give up. He pulled slowly,
Wow.
steadily. And then
Look at this.
the carrot came free.
It's
It was long.
perfect.
Longer than his paw. Orange like the last sunlight. Dirt clinging to its skin like tiny jewels. Little Bunny held it up. The morning light caught the orange and made it glow. He thought of the seed. He thought of the cave. He thought of Grandmother Root. And the firefly lantern. And the thousands of carrots waiting in the dark. He held the carrot in his paws. He felt its weight. He remembered the days he had waited. He remembered the rain and the sun and the soil. All those days of waiting come down to this one sweet bite. If you want to feel this moment again, and again subscribe, so our paths cross by the garden once more. And in the comments, share the one thing you're waiting for. The one thing you know will be worth the wait. And then he took the first bite. The taste was not just sweet. It was time. It was the morning mist and the dew on the grass. It was the tiny green curl breaking through the soil. It was the 47 days of waiting, compressed into a single moment of crunch and flavor. Little Bunny chewed slowly. He swallowed. And then he took another bite. The sun climbed higher. The sparrows sang from the fence. The garden was quiet and full and alive. And somewhere beneath the earth, another seed was waiting. But that is a story for another night. For now, little Bunny finished his carrot. He touched the spot where it had grown. He promised himself that he would plant another seed tomorrow. And as the morning turned to afternoon, and the afternoon turned to evening, and the evening turned to night, little Bunny curled into his nest of hay, full and tired and satisfied. The stars came out. The crickets sang. The farm breathed. And little Bunny closed his eyes, knowing that the soil was keeping its promise, and that the seeds were always working, and that some things are worth waiting for.